Why Trust the Bible? Answers to the New Critics. Author, Timothy Paul Jones. This is my 7th pamphlet review of Literature from Work. It's the final one. The author discusses some of the objections from Bart Ehrman in his book, Misquoting Jesus. Basically, Ehrman is noting we don't have the original copies. He reasons we don't have the first copies of the originals, and we only have error-ridden copies. Mistakes multiply, and sometimes they're corrected, sometimes they get compounded. So he doesn't trust in the scripture and the manuscript evidence. He also claims that the Dead Sea Scrolls made things worse for the evidence for the Old Testament / Hebrew Bible, but Jones answers in truth, Dead Sea Scrolls prove the precise opposite. They demonstrate how carefully the Old Testament has been copied through the centuries. While I was at Trinity Western University, Canadian Baptist Seminary, I had Dr. Peter Flint, a Dead Sea Scrolls scholar, as a professor, and he verified that the Dead Sea Scrolls actually strengthened the overall manuscript evidence for what the Hebrew Bible taught and the theology. In regard to the New Testament, Ehrman is again quoted that basically they're error-ridden, and the vast majority of these are centuries removed from the originals, and there's differences in thousands of ways. But Jones replies that more than 99% of the variants in the New Testament are not even noticeable when the text is translated, and none of these affects key Christian theology. In my words, what he says is that there's no effects any vital aspects of Christian faith. So what I've done here is I've provided some links where I've discussed this on this blog, and I've also, besides work on this website, done lectures on this at a board meeting for my employer and also at a church. I've also quoted Daniel B. Wallace, who notes that ancient scribes who copied the handwritten text of the New Testament frequently changed the text intentionally, although unintentionally changes account for the vast majority of textual corruption. Intentional alterations also accounted for thousands of corruptions. In some cases, to be sure, it does seem that the scribes were being malicious, but these instances are few and far between. The majority of intentional changes by the text were done by scribes who either thought that the text they were copying had errors in it, or the scribes were clarifying the meaning, especially for liturgical reasons. And for example, in the Gospels, they would try to make the Gospels seem similar. But he concludes, even this strong motive to alter the text was never done systematically and was never done completely. For this reason, we have a great deal of confidence that the essential message of the original text can be recovered, for there's always a witness to it. So myself, Wallace, and Jones would all disagree with Ehrman. We believe that the essential message, faith, and theology of both the Hebrew Bible and New Testament has been maintained through manuscript evidence, even with scribal copying errors and any intentional changing of the text to make it parallel.